This is going to be my take on the Star Wars The Last Jedi. Not only am I going to talk about that, I'm going to try to hit on a point that a lot of people are saying, but you don't have it combined into one video. I'm going to talk a little bit about the old films, a little bit about the new films as well, because this is a package deal. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about The Last Jedi. There's so many. This movie has more mixed reviews than any other movie that's probably came out in a long time. But look at what kind of movie this is. This is a big blockbuster movie with a budget that they're expecting it to make $1.5 billion. Right now, I think it's close to about $900 million, which is still a lot of money. But it is 60% behind The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, I enjoyed. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It wasn't mind-blowing. Didn't really care for Rogue One. So my expectations coming into this is the main storyline of what we're getting every other year. So I was really excited. I think a lot of people's issue with this movie starts with Luke Skywalker. The comedy. There's so many aspects of this movie people are breaking down. I just want to say that I enjoyed the movie. Thought it was really good. Was it a Star Wars movie? I don't think it was a Star Wars movie, though. I think that's what gets people, is you're taking these characters and you're doing something totally different with them. This is not Luke's character that's portrayed. But at the same time, I want everybody to breathe, because there is still one more movie to be made. And I kind of feel with all the heat on this movie, with sales being down, J.J. Abrams is going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right movie. Now I just kind of worry, I don't really care about extraordinary fan service, but they could still do the right things and fit the storyline that they've created for themselves. Another thing about this Star Wars movie is I compare it to the movie It. It was a remake of a classic that a lot of people were kind of not sure what to think about. I know I wasn't sure what to think about it. Tim Curry was such a good Pennywise. And then I see pictures and I'm like, God, I'm just not buying this guy as Pennywise. I still went to the movie. My local theater, they hung balloons throughout the town, and we went there, had somebody dressed up as it. So it really just brought the community together, and I fell in love with it. And then going into the movie, I was sold. Then what happens is that movie, there's word of mouth going around, people enjoy it, and it just made a ton of money, What's going on now is this internet age. You got more people reviewing these videos than the people that are purchasing things from the videos. So they're going home, or they're downloading the movies, or going to the movies, not one, and then next day they're popping up a review movie about these movies. So what happens with these high-end movies? Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, I should say, and Freddy vs. Jason. You come in with these budgets, and the first week they're making $70 to $100 million. Then after that, the second week they're cut in half, and then half after, and then half after, and then it just dies. What really happens is word of mouth. Word of mouth is killed. One of my favorite bands is Kiss. When they got back together, they did that real famous reunion tour. Then they did the Cycle Circus album a couple years later. It had already leaked on the internet, and this is in '99. It already leaked on the internet that Peter Criss, Ace Frehley was not playing on that whole album. So the fans reacted. You didn't give them what they wanted. They could have played on that freaking album. Just like in this movie. Disney is trying to, I don't want to say Disney's trying, but there's already rumors that Disney contacted Mark and said, you know, don't be saying this or that about the movie and this. Hey, he has every right to say whatever he wants about the movie. He can. It's his right, just like it's my right, just like it's your right. And here's the thing about it, and I keep pushing throughout this whole video, I'm going to say this. Everybody's opinion on this movie is right. And I think that's what's kind of missing in this is, if you liked it, you're right. If you didn't like it, you're right. If you don't think they handled Luke right, you're right. If you think they handled him wrong, you're right. Me personally, I didn't think they handled Luke right. I didn't think they handled all the characters correctly. It was a great movie, and 20 years from now we're all going to enjoy it, but it's not going to be Empire Strikes Back. I also want to say when the remakes came out, not the remakes, but when the George Lucas, the prequels came out, 1, 2, and 3, I was there day one. I was excited just like everybody else. I'm somebody that grew up watching, I believe it was on TBS or USA, they would air the original Star Wars all the time, every year. So not only did I grow up watching it then, we have unopened VHS box sets, collections of Star Wars, of Star Trek. I'll get into Star Trek in just a minute and how I think Star Trek ties into this new Star Wars. But even the 1, 2, and 3 George Lucas movies, I didn't care for it. All that CGI was too cheesy. Now CGI looks a lot different. But just so much about those movies. I hear that there's a 6-hour version of them and how it's great. I am a firm believer that more dialogue and stuff can make a movie better. But those movies left a lot to be desired for me. And I even left there thinking, well, I like Darth Maul. I think Anakin is a little too puny to be what we know as Darth Vader. Yeah, he's wearing a robot suit. Yeah, whatever. It has nothing to do with his shoulders. He was a little guy. They did not cast right in those movies whatsoever. And that's my opinion. So this is coming from somebody that, even today, you know, it's been almost 20 years now, when it comes to those 1, 2, and 3 trilogies of the last of George Lucas, even today I didn't like those. So I walk away liking Last Jedi, but I'm not happy with what they did with Mark Hamill. I'm not happy that some of these older actors are not treated right in the world of Hollywood. I think a lot of times there's a lot of pressure in these movies, but here's the issue. Here's the issue with these movies. Lord of the Rings, they already had the books. They already had the ideas. So they record them all back to back. They recorded them back to back. And when you went home and you bought that deluxe extended version, they were even better than what they were at the theater. What I think you guys don't realize about these Star Wars movies is they are literally written one at a time, even though there's an arc that's supposed to go 3 stories. Who does that? Who does that? And it obviously doesn't work because J.J. Abrams had a vision for this one. He set a good foundation. Then this guy comes in and throws it all away. So is that what we as fans, Star Wars fans, got to look forward to? Let me tell you a little bit about the Han Solo movie. Go look up some stuff on that. How some of the directors are leaving because Disney's wanting too much control. They're getting people that are not credible names. They're getting people that haven't done much. J.J. Abrams has. Which leads me to this. Some of these directors I think are more Star Trek fans than Star Wars. I'm a fan of both. Yeah, hate me, I don't care. I love both of them. But I also know there's 2 distinct differences in Star Wars and Star Trek. And I just think with Star Wars, I am excited of these directors coming in. I'm excited for them to come in and do new movies because they can make good movies. I'm excited for the Luke and all that stuff to be gone. Because they're showing me with The Last Jedi they can still make a good movie. The problem I'm having is you need to tie it up. You need to do Luke Skywalker right. We grew up knowing what Luke Skywalker is, who he is, how he is. Yeah, people change. But that's not who he is to give up like that. When he was young, he lost his parents, found out Darth Vader was his dad, and right when he reconvened, right when he got back together with his father gets killed in front of him. He had already went through trauma and didn't turn to the dark side. So Luke would have been the type of guy that would have went up to Ben, and told him, or my bad, Kylo. He would have went up to him and talked to him about it if he was having problems with Snoke. It just wouldn't have been him hovering over him with a lightsaber. He would have not acted out that way. We all know that. Argue it with me. Comment about it. You know he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't. The other issues people were saying was the laughter. You know, I laughed at Yoda in the prior movies. There were funny things. I personally didn't mind Jar Jar Binks. There was things like that just did not bother me as much as some of these other things did. Comedy is always a part of every movie. Comedy and horror work both hand in hand. I'm a fan of Alice Cooper, and he was really the one that showed me that. He goes, you know, you gotta have a little bit of horror with your comedy. Some of my favorite horror movies. I think everyone, maybe Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have comedy in it, but Friday the 13th does, part 4 and 6. There's some comedy elements in it, and I enjoy that. Gremlins. Comedy is not a big issue for me in this movie, but I think comedy makes it even worse when you do the characters wrong, and I think that's why people are really bashing the comedy in the movie. The other problem I have with the movie is the political stuff. Spider-Man Homecoming I thought was a great movie, but God, there was so much political crap in it. And, you know, hey, if you want to cast a role of somebody, look for a black man, get a black man. If you need a transgender, get a transgender. If there's a role that's somebody that's gay or straight, white, Asian, Hispanic, get the role that fits. That should be a no-brainer. But don't force political agendas in movies like blatantly in Spider-Man. Now they're saying that that stuff is going on in the Star Wars movie. There was nothing other than maybe some vegan stuff in there, but it was nothing that was blatant in my face, kind of like Spider-Man Homecoming, where they're correcting each other and, oh, you can't say this. Or do we have lobbyists in movies now? You know, is me doing this review and I'm playing this Zakk Wylde guitar. I just now told you it was a Zakk Wylde guitar. I didn't just put it in your face. I did the solo because it's Star Wars and it's kind of cool, you know. But it was nothing where I'm like, oh, go to wildaudio.com, you know, and here's the price and here's a link below. I'm not even doing that. It's not about that. And that's what I get worried about, the future of movies. I'm a fan of movies like Friday the 13th where they've lost so much in editing, where they had to cut the gore out. Stuff we'll never see. So many movies that I love, there's so many like, oh, you can't do that. I grew up watching Porky's and Harlem Nights and Hollywood Nights and Harlem Nights and Blazing Saddles on TBS for free, and I'm like, wow, I can't imagine what comedy is going to be like in the future, because it keeps getting looser and looser and looser. You're hearing curse words on TV now that wouldn't said 15 years ago, when shit was a big deal. You know, now it's on every show. So we let loose on this end, but now we tighten up on this end, and that's going to play a big issue moving forward with these movies coming out. So again, my opinion, and this is my second time recording this video, so I may do a part 2 depending on how many views this gets, how many comments, whatever. There's so much to talk about, but I just wanted everybody to know basically this. This movie embodies Star Wars. It embodies the good and the bad. You know, it embodies if you're in the middle, you're going to find your way to the left or right. But I am hopeful for this next one. Mark my words, if this next one screws over Luke or somebody like that, I guarantee every movie after this will not ever be as big as The Force Awakens. I'm pretty sure this one's going to hurt a lot of people. Pretty sure if Han Solo comes out and it ain't a decent movie, I'm already hearing that guy has a dialogue actor. Somebody teaching him his dialogue while they're recording. That's insane. That's insane. Because I guess there was a guy on the Logan Lucky movie that was between him and this guy that they got acting in it. So that's not good. You know, if I'm a nobody, but if I was over Disney and I had just purchased Star Wars, I'd already had script ideas for the next 5-6 movies. I'd have had them done quick. I'd have had them done right then and there. I'd have had them linked. That way they're done and set. And you can worry about the future. And that way if you got to make changes to your script as they move forward, Justin, I would not be like, oh, here you go. Oh, yeah, you did Looper, whoop-de-doo. Here's a movie script. Some of the reviews, though, I was really disappointed in Kevin Smith's review. He pretty much just told you what the movie was, part by part. I don't think he really gave what I felt like his full opinion on it. There's so many reviews out there, but you know what I mean to tell you guys where the great thing about Star Wars is, and I'll end it right here. It's YouTube. I got on YouTube today, and there was a Star Wars in a Minute feature where it was talking about Luke Skywalker's son and Ben Solo and just all these people, and it explains a lot of who they are and what they've done all within a minute. So you're hearing all these stories. There's the Darth Maul movie on YouTube where they cut up everything from the Clone Wars. Amazing stuff. there's so many good things, and there's a lot to be excited about. So I just want people to know we got one more movie to go. Let's see what they do, and I'm sure if they fail, we'll be right there, and we get to vote with our money. And I enjoyed that movie. I believe in Disney. I hope Disney buys Kiss one day, because Kiss was Marvel. I would like Disney to buy Alice Cooper one day. I believe in Disney, but it takes this, it takes that, it takes getting it out there to right the ship, to give us what we want. And I kind of feel that J.J. Abrams doing great with Star Trek, which I thought Star Trek Beyond was way better than Rogue One. Rogue One I cannot watch twice for some reason. But I just want to leave it at that. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to end it playing a little guitar.